Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the SharpSHOOTers. As always, we're your hosts, Danny and Juice. How you doing tonight, Juice?
Got the black lung, pa.
Sorry, it died on me before we even started the show, man. It was crazy.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to roll. Got a lot of wrestling to talk about, so let's dive on in.
A lot of wrestling to talk about this week. For those of you who have never joined us before on a Thursday, this is our last point standing. Every Thursday, we do it at 8 o'clock, most Thursdays. And we talk about this week in wrestling. We segmented kind of a part in the interruption if you've ever seen that. We got 3 minutes to talk about each topic that we have, both WWE and AEW. And if you have anything you want us to talk about, always feel free to add it to the chat, and we will add it on to the end of either WWE or AEW. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. Thank you to Accept to Win for being our official band. Before and after the podcast and during the break, you hear them all the time. They released a recent music video, got it right this time on the first try, on YouTube, so please go check that out. Really fun to look at. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we are at 4 out of 10. Keverlash just subscribed this past Tuesday on our show. Please be like Keverlash and throw us a subscription. If you have Amazon Prime, you can use it for free and give us a sub. Costs you nothing. All the directions are in the chat. Please go check it out. Without further ado, last point standing. All right, Juice, where are we starting tonight?
Oh, sorry, I got Accept the Win song in my head, popping here, checking them out. Sorry. All right. Let's dive in here. First thing I wanted to do. This is more a question for you,
All
since
right.
you've been watching weekly
Right.
since WrestleMania. I wanted to get a more or less a temperature check on JC Mateo, Aleister Black, and Rusev since they've shown up and debuted. Hold on, can you hear me first off?
Yes.
Okay, because my screen is completely frozen on our stream,
Oh,
so I just
really?
want to make sure we're. I'm gonna refresh. Could be on my end.
Yeah, I think that's on your
Just
end.
wanna-
Everything's working good. We can hear you. You're not frozen on ours. You're totally fine.
Okay, it all looks good now. So apologies for that. Just wanted to make sure it looked okay. Yeah, so I wanted to see what you think since they've debuted or returned or however you want to put it for these three. Are they doing any of the three of them justice? Is it going well, or are they just all immediately just another guy?
So if I'm going to rank them, the worst so far, no surprise, has been Rusev. He is just another guy. He's in a feud technically right now with Otis and Tozawa, and that's about it. He doesn't even show up every week. There's not even a vignette every week, but he has wrestled them. That's his feud. Second would be JC Mateo. They've given him at least some screen time. They just introduced him though, so it's still jury's still kind of out on that. But he's had some matches. He's already picked up a win over R-Truth. He is in the mix because of the Solo and Jacob Fatu storyline going on, so he is featured. But right now he hasn't been like a main event guy, but he's been around the scene. And Aleister Black, they've done probably the best with. Not saying that he's like been featured heavily, but he's in a feud with LA Knight, sort of. They already put him in the King of the Ring matches and the Money in the Bank qualifiers, but he hasn't won them yet. So like, they're featuring him more. He's there weekly. I would say he's the most weekly, the most matches, the most mic time is Aleister Black, but still not like a main event guy yet.
Is he still doing the same old, same old? Like, are any of them doing anything different, or is it just the
Well,
same?
JC Mateo, I guess you could technically say is doing something different because it's just a whole new character for him. But Black and Rusev's thing is that he's come back. Actually, I couldn't really tell you to kind of like bring
Probably
back wrestling, but not really because he's like wrestling Otis and Taza. It's strange. And Aleister Black is doing the same old Aleister Black stuff, which is cool.
Okay.
But if you're not pushing him, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. All right, that was all with that. Moving on.
Oh, wait.
Money in the Bank
Hold
was
on.
this
My
past
screen
weekend.
just went off. Just give me 1 second. I'm losing it. Okay.
Money in the Bank was this past weekend, and while I did not watch, I did see that Naomi and Seth Rollins are our Money in the Bank winners this year. And as of tonight, today, they are both still Money in the Bank holders. Nobody cashed in immediately
This is
for this
correct.
week so far. They're still Friday, but doubtful. So, did you watch Money in the Bank, and what are your thoughts?
I did watch Money in the Bank. The women's match delivered like we thought it would. I think everyone really got a time to shine. I think Stephanie Vicor, first off, wrestled 3 matches in 24 hours. So that's just kudos to her. That's pretty great. And then secondly, was kind of the star of the women's Money in the Bank. I think she did really good. Naomi held her own, good win. I think we talked about it last week where like we were between Naomi and Bliss. I wasn't mad either way. I think Naomi makes sense for a storyline that you were saying too. So good win for her. As far as the men's was a little more boring. The men's was more of a spot fest, which you kind of expected it to be. There were random funny moments from commentary, just talking about like the Chad Gable, Americana Grande, kind of like they're he is him, he's not him. At one point, Wade said that they have different nipples, so that's how he knows that they're not the same person. Very strange stuff. But yeah, that was more of a spot fest. You kind of always saw what was happening. Rollins got the window. Not a bad win. Just the women's match was better.
Yeah, all right, well, that's what I expected. I mean, from what I heard, the men's one was absurdly bloated.
Yes.
I mean, I know we talked and joked about match length times last week, and we were all kind of shut up with that really quick when the fifth match was announced after the show went
Yeah,
off the
that's so
air.
funny.
But still, like 33 minutes, I think I
It
saw
got
for the men's.
dragged.
That is insane.
It got
Like
dragged.
that's way too long. You can't convince me that that was a good match, even though I didn't see it. You can't convince me. Those are the rules. Yeah, I mean, Rollins is lazy. It's expected, but lazy. I mean, it made sense, and everyone saw it coming a mile
Of
away, so
course.
not really exciting.
I
And
will
Naomi,
say that it looks like, I think what the plan overall is, and at least that's what they're making it seem like, is that Rollins is going to try to cash in on the WWE. Like the way they kind of plant everything is that they want Bronson or Braun to really chase the world heavyweight title, and Rollins looks like he's going to try to like pick his moment for the WWE title, because it sounds like they're trying to get both in that little group they have, but I don't know.
yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me because Cena's a heel, and him doing that would just make them baby faces at this point. So I'm not buying that. All right, next point. Moving on to Becky Lynch, our new women's intercontinental champion. She beat Lyra
Yeah,
at Money in the Bank. We both got that one incorrect.
I know. I was
And
surprised about that.
I don't know if you want to use this as your moment to bring up the predictions on how we both did for the night.
Oh
But
yes, I
yeah,
can bring those up.
Becky Lynch, new Intercontinental Champion. Wanted to see what your thoughts on it are.
Um, I mean, we talked about it last week. I wasn't crazy about the decision. It wasn't a bad decision. I kind of wanted to see what Valkyria could do more with the belt. But Becky getting it isn't a bad call. It still keeps Lyra in the title scene and contention. It brought back Bayley this week. Finally, we've been saying like, where's Bayley? What's going on with her? She finally came back this week. So
Yeah,
Becky
on
winning the
Raw.
belt does do something for it. So I'm not upset by it. I just kind of want to see what Lyra could do with a more lengthy title reign. But it wasn't a bad decision. It was a good match. I would say maybe best match of the night. Maybe. Wonky finish kind of hurt it. So I don't know.
Maybe.
Hold on, let me pull up predictions right now. If I could get them. How are they gonna look? Let's see here. Where are they gonna go? Oh, right there. Hold on. Let me take out last one standing. Boom. And they're just gonna cover your face for a little bit, Juice. It's all right. It's okay. We're gonna actually move them up because they're covering something else that I don't like. Let's move those up, and they're gonna cover both of us. Look at that. All right, so predictions real quick, and then we'll get back to our beautiful faces. We both picked Seth Rollins to win the men's Money in the Bank. We were both correct about that. I picked Alexa Bliss. Juice picked Naomi. He was correct, so he got the point advantage on me there. We both picked Rhodes and Uso. We were both correct about that one. We both picked Lyra Valkyria. We were both incorrect about that. And the last second Intercontinental title match that was added, Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. We both picked Dom. We were both correct. End of the night, I was at 3-2. Juice at 4-1. So Juice gains a match on me. Overall, that's our record at the bottom. And next up, I believe we have... What do we have next up? All in?
Probably double or no, yeah, all in. I was saying double or nothing. I meant all in.
Yeah,
probably all in because I don't know when Night of Champions is. I think that's the week after, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't even want to watch Night of Champions, but we'll get to that in a second. So yeah,
actually,
that
no,
was the
that,
Becky Lynch
that
stuff.
one might be sooner. Night of Champions is probably end of June. So I think it's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're right.
So I think because yeah. Yeah, because they're doing SummerSlam beginning of August. They wouldn't do that. Okay, either way. Moving on to our next point. Ron Killings, Mr. R-Truth himself, is back.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know how you feel. I don't know how anybody else feels, but my personal opinion is probably the majority here, but you cannot tell me that this was in any way planned.
No.
This was not by design. This wasn't to throw off the fans. And I saw that bullshit during the press conference where Triple H was like, "Oh, you guys are watching the show. Keep enjoying the show," or "It's all part of the show." Like bullshit.
But,
no way. Like they fired him. He was leaving. Well, they didn't fire. They told him they weren't renewing his contract.
which
His
they
contract
still
was gonna
might
run
not.
out.
Let's keep that in mind. They still might not renew the contract.
No. So apparently the details that have come out are that he has signed some sort of extension kind of thing where he is only by appearance or for a limited amount of time. He's not signed for a year or 2 years or whatever. It's a very different deal, and it's him basically going out on his terms. We don't know the details on that, so that's what makes it exciting, I guess. But his contract ended. Apparently, his contract ended, and when the news broke, it was right around then. So he was gone. He was done.
Gotcha.
And Nick Khan had to go back and get him just to bring him back and work something out here. So do I think it's going to end up with him becoming a champion or doing anything? No. But I'll let you kind of speak here from there. But yeah, I mean, this is them just trying to pivot and make good PR wise, but everyone can see through it that has a half a brain, in my opinion.
100%. I don't think anyone. I don't think even the friends I talk to that are like actually WWE fans and like love it. Also, we're like, no shot. We know Triple H is just saving face and just saying that. But with that being said, I don't know if you saw Monday, but like, just getting a Ron Killings that's going to actually be able to wrestle is going to be a breath of fresh air. It's not going to be the same comedian R-Truth. The haircut was weird, but I was signifying, was symbolic, so I understand that. But I don't think it's gonna result in a world championship, but it might result in him costing Cena the world championship. I don't know, because like it's a major character shift. It's going back to like I would say like TNA, Ron Killings. So like it's interesting.
I just don't know what the payoff is here. Like, okay, like great, you did it. You brought him back. You're doing this. Okay, so
what do you think of this as the payoff? Because I was on to my buddy about this when it all happened. Punk is doing the whole thing. That's fine. After that, probably not SummerSlam, but maybe SummerSlam if you build this right. You have SummerSlam, Truth versus Cena. You have Truth win the belt out of nowhere, and either that night or the next night when he's celebrating, Seth Rollins cashes in. Ultimate heel heat. You have Truth with a one-day reign. Who cares? It's a short reign. You're just giving him the respect by getting the title, getting the belt off Cena. And then that starts the new Seth Rollins title reign.
I wouldn't do that only because you could have done everything you just said, still using the goofy babyface R-Truth we had beforehand. And him coming back and being this new R-Truth and doing that to him doesn't feel like it's capitalizing on anything.
Yeah, but no one ever believed the comedian R-Truth was going to win the championship. Now Ron Killings, maybe.
I don't think that's the way. I don't think so.
No, just
Harley says he screws Cena against Punk, sets up for Punk versus Seth. Yeah, I mean maybe.
I
I
hope
just
so.
don't
That
know.
would be great, but
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
where that goes. And my last point I want to throw in here about it is this is a dangerous precedent because now great for Ron Killings, great for the fans that rah against him, but like not that I fully care, but like how does that make Carlito feel and Valhalla and anybody else now that's going to get fired or released over the coming months? And there's not going to be. Are all the wrestlers going to go for online social media campaigns and hashtags and chants to come back? Is that what it's going to come to?
Yeah, but
It's a scary press. I know our truth's a
I don't
unique
agree
thing.
because it's already been done before with stuff like Brian Danielson and stuff like that. And also, like, this was organic. This wasn't Ron Killings going online and being like, hey, like, shout me out, back me up, blah, blah, blah. This was a bunch of fans being like, you fucked him over. This is a lot of backlash just from the second it was announced. Like, it's a
I
lot different
mean,
if you go on begging for the attention and begging for the help. He didn't beg for
well,
anything. It just kind of happened organically where everyone was like, oh, that's bullshit. You shouldn't have fired R-Truth. You should at least give him some kind of different
yeah,
deal or whatever.
but that's my point. It's okay that it happened organically, but now the template is set, the table is set. So now going forward, any wrestler that gets released or fired knows, hey, let me, I can try and get this going, and maybe I can make it work for me. And then they're gonna, because our truth didn't have to write a tweet, but
But
he did. He could
but
have let he could have let his contract end. He wrote what he wrote. All the wrestlers replied to him. I'm not saying our truth did anything wrong. I'm just saying wrestlers are going to do this now. Anyone that's going to get their contract end, they're going to try to come back and get saved,
I agree.
and it's going to be an
I just don't think it's gonna have the same effect because again, it's different when you're begging
it
for
won't.
it. It's different when it's not gonna be the same kind of like they were getting backlash from people. Like the fans aren't gonna be backlashing. They're just gonna be like, hey, like hashtag we think they should get their job. Like that's a little different. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I just if they let go Alexa Bliss right now, you know it would happen again. Like that's what I'm getting at. It's gonna repeat. Either way, we can move on. Um, Next up, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring are underway with the winners getting the title shots at SummerSlam again. Hooray! How lovely and creative, and all that good stuff.
I don't even care about that stipulation. I truly don't. I hate that they can't just do a tournament. Why do we have to have four fatal four ways? Just have
he's
all these
numb.
single matches.
Triple H is creatively bankrupt. He's incapable of putting on a full normal single elimination tournament.
It's
Like
crazy.
you have 16 people. You have the field.
You literally
Just
have a tournament number of people.
do the 16-person field, and you could do the same fucking thing. But they're not. They're doing four fatal four ways, leading to a final four and whatever. So,
It's so upsetting. It's just so
real
annoying.
quick, real quick, who you got? What do you think? Who's winning? Who's taking it?
So part of me thinks Killings is the mystery guy on the is it SmackDown or Raw? On the Raw one.
It's on Raw.
Part of me thinks Killian might be the mystery guy. And if he is, he might be the winner. I was thinking maybe Rhodes, but that's just like a strong, obviously contender. Yeah, it's between those two. Everyone else, I really don't see like. And then I assume they also win a title match for their respective brand, right? They can't just call out whichever one. Jay DeFalco thinks Joe Hendry might be the mystery guy.
Joe Hendry, yeah. Well, I think last year they chose
Do they choose? All
Orton
right.
and Naya.
So yeah,
I,
if
I
they
think,
choose, then I think more Killings. I'm gonna lean
pretty
towards
sure
that
they
as a mystery
chose.
person.
I don't know if anybody else remembers that. If Orton and Naya had a choice, I feel like they did, but
I wouldn't be surprised. I could look that up really quick.
either way, my at this point, I mean, I'm kind of going with the. I think they're gonna do the Sami Zayn route. I think they're gonna have Sammy
I forgot about
versus
Sammy too. Yeah.
I think they're gonna do Sammy versus Walter, and Sammy's gonna beat him, and Seth's gonna cash in and rob everybody of that joy. I think that's what they're doing. Um, Personally, so I think we get a Seth cash in at SummerSlam, taking it from Sammy, who just beats Walter. So I think Sammy on one side, and I think on the female side, I hate to say it, I think it's Charlotte. I think they're
Yeah,
going to do the queen. I think they're going to finally give the queen of the
the
ring.
Queen of the Ring.
'Cause,
I agree.
Because
Last
I'm
year,
looking at the rest of the field and I just don't see it like for
last year there
SummerSlam.
was no choice for the King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring. Gunther got his Raw match for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam against Damian Priest, and Nia got her women's match on SmackDown against Bayley.
All right. Oh, and my last quick thing we can move on. I think the mystery person is going to be Jay.
Uso?
I think. Yep. I think that's why he was mystery because they didn't. Yeah. I think Jay's taking the mystery spot.
Makes sense.
So, yep. All right. Moving on to CM Punk, who is challenging John Cena at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia and not at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship. I'll just get it out of the way. At this point, the blood money is the blood money. Is he a hypocrite? Yes. Is everybody that's gone a hypocrite in some way? Yes. Honestly, after I said this before to somebody else, once Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn went, the moral compass was basically dead.
Yes.
Because those were the only two that were holding out for years.
I would say
not
specifically
going.
Sammy for me. KO, like, but specifically Sammy for me was like the one where I was like, all right,
yeah.
now I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
No, sure, but I'm pretty sure Kevin never went either with Sammy, like in solidarity. So like that was
That's
the
what
point.
I mean. Like,
Yeah,
KO went
was
because
for
Sammy
Sammy's
went. So
support.
like,
Yeah. Either way, once that happened, that whole thing was dead. So I mean, does it make it any better? No. Yes, the clip is all over social media. Everyone's giving him shit, and you know what? Rightfully so. I mean, it sucks. The whole thing sucks, and
so
bummer.
I will
I have nothing else to
say,
say.
and if they do it afterward, it's too little, too late in my opinion. But what I will say is that I think they should have used that in the storyline. Like, if you're gonna make him go anyway, use that in the story and be like, and make Cena be like, listen, if you want this last title shot, you have to go against everything you fucking stand for and go take the blood money and come to Saudi Arabia and challenge me. That's the only way you get the title shot. Like that, at least people will still be like, you're a hypocrite. Obviously, it's the writing, but storyline wise, would have been a little bit cooler. To be like, oh, they're blending in some reality.
Well,
That makes a little more
and
sense.
I think they give them the smallest amount of credit. They're tiptoeing around that. From what I heard, Cena did kind of allude to something like that with "balls in your court, hero."
Yeah,
At the end of his
yeah,
thing,
he
and then
said that, but it
also,
wasn't like very specific. So like,
well, it's one of
it
those
was
things that again
alluded
they're
to.
well, that's what I'm saying. They're tiptoeing on purpose because at the end of the day, they are in bed with Saudi. They are sponsored with Saudi, so they have to play nice. They
Yeah,
can't make Saudi be the bad guys in the story. So I get that. I get them not doing it, even though we all feel that way. But also, I did see Cena posted us on his Instagram. Um, so the famous tweet that's Punk wrote. Obviously, he wrote it in response to the Miz tweet, and the picture that the Miz used in his original tweet, Cena posted that picture on his Instagram. So everybody that's in
that's
the
funny.
know is like, okay. So they know what they want to do. They're just tiptoeing around it. So it doesn't make
That's
it any
fair.
better or good.
No, I understand that though. That's a
Um,
little more fair, but fuck them.
it's all gross, but whatever. It's a shame how it goes. Moving on to the final WWE point of the week,
Possibly the
we
best point.
have we have Walter winning back the World Heavyweight Championship from that fraud Jay Uso.
Who saw that
And
coming?
from what I heard, he beat him clean with a rear naked choke.
Yes.
No interference,
None.
no cash in teases,
None.
nothing.
None.
Just Walter beating him.
Straight up.
I love it. I mean, I still think, you know, I still think Jay sucks. I think it was a mistake. I'm not surprised they did anything they did, but I think it just shows how much of a shitty champion he was. Like that we're just doing this now,
Agree.
and Walter's getting the belt back with SummerSlam coming up and all that. So,
Yeah, I think they tested the
yeah,
waters and like, yeah, he's popular, but like the matches weren't good. People were, yeah. But this match was, I think, better than the WrestleMania match. Not just because Walter won, but just because they seemed like they were working a little more fluid together.
Mhm.
Walter hit an amazing spear, in my opinion. If you can get a clip of it, it really like just looked like a football kind of spear, where like it just hurt Jay, which is awesome. And then the end, they got me because I really thought the way they were having them dance around, they had Jay in the sleeper hold for like no exaggeration, like I don't know, 6 minutes, let's say 5 minutes, like a long time in the sleeper hold, just standing there and like possibly going out. And then he got out and reversed it into a sleeper. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Like, not that he's gonna win with the sleeper, but he was in there for so long. If they don't call it now, he's not gonna lose. And then they reversed it again and just clamped it on and just laid down in the middle of the ring. I'm like, holy shit, they're gonna do it right. Like, this is awesome. And tap out or not tap out.
Mhm.
Arm pass out. So
Yeah.
it was great.
Well, it's all great news, but I'm not going to celebrate too hard because, in typical WWE fashion, I'm sure in the coming weeks, Goldberg will show up or something will happen and explain why the belt went to him, and we'll all be slapping our heads.
Well, Goldberg
So,
is a superhero, and he needs to destroy Gunther at SummerSlam for his 18-year-old kid, 19, 20-year-old son.
with that, it is time for our commercial break. We will be back very shortly after our ad break here. Jay says Rikishi was not a fan of the booking, I bet. Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't, but he can go fuck himself. All right, time for commercial. We'll see y'all in a few minutes. Stand by for AEW right after this.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Accept the Win video got us all late. No one expected that little music video in there. It was awesome. Hopefully we get more of those. That was fun to watch. Back to our last point standing. AEW time. Where are we starting, Juicy Boy?
Well, we're starting at the beginning, which is the perfect place to start. This is the 4-hour summer blockbuster event that took place last night. Congratulations to any of you that watched it. You made it. You did it. 2 back-to-back 4-hour shows, followed
Crazy.
up with next week being a 2.5-hour Dynamite, apparently. I'm assuming there's a collision, but either way, we're here to talk about last night. Last night kicks off with Swerve versus Ospreay 2, and man, it was awesome.
Yes.
30-minute draw. I love that way more than Ospreay getting the last minute win to even it out and do a rubber match. I love the hidden blade to the outside when Swerve was outside and Swerve went through the bottom ropes.
Yeah, that was really dope.
Awesome spot. I did nitpick a little bit when Swerve like snapped Osprey's arm right at the end, and then Osprey immediately like after that hit the hidden blade and the Stormbreaker, and I was like, really? Like he didn't sell the arm at all with the hooking and the doing the move, and
The
but then like
adrenaline's
a
rushing
minute.
through you, bro.
Yeah, I know, but in that instance, I was like, this is the end of the match. Like, it shouldn't. I didn't like it, but then like a minute later, he went for I think another Stormbreaker or a different move, and then he sold the arm, and I was like, okay, you bitch, you got me fine. Like at least he did it somewhere in the end sequence,
You
but
bitch.
yeah, that irked me a little bit in the moment. But yeah, I really liked the match, and the post match stuff. We have the all hell breaking loose, leading to the Bucks coming out with the Swerve shoes, going to super kick Swerve with them, and Osprey coming out of nowhere and taking the hit and knocking himself out to rob us all of 5 more minutes. And in my opinion, what I think is the end of, at least for now, Swerve and Osprey 3 at All In. I think it's Swerve Osprey versus the Bucks now
I do too.
at All
And
In.
I love the way the whole storyline's developing. And do you have no? You don't have it on here, so I'll talk about it a little bit. The way the whole thing backstage with Paige developed when Swerve was backstage checking on Osprey, and then they overheard the conversation with the Bucks and Paige. Like it's all coming together really well. The story because you had to figure out how is Swerve and Paige going to kind of coincide. And you're starting to see how that's like each one is slowly but surely trusting the other one. They're taking moments and saying, all right, I'm realizing this. So it's a great slow burn. I do agree. I think the tag team match at All In is how you have to go now. I think they set it up really well. I not too crazy about the 10-man tag next week just because I feel like we just saw that with Anarchy in the arena. So I feel like they're running that back a little too quick for me, but it advances the storyline, so I kind of get it.
I agree, but I think it's purely to get those people on the show in Mexico, and also
Exactly.
I mean I'm not fully in the loop, but I know like just like New Japan, Lucha Libre likes to have those big multi-man matches. So this isn't. They usually do trios, but whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
and all right, moving on to our next point, multi-man madness. Yeah, for sure. It is essentially the same exact match, but Osprey instead of Omega.
Yes,
So it's
exactly.
not that different at all. I get it. I thought the same damn thing. Next up, Hurt Syndicate taking on Jet Speed and Mascara Dorada, not Commander.
Yeah.
Commander surprisingly being taken out backstage, not able to compete. I feel bad for anybody in our fantasy game that had Commander on their team, which someone did, because
I
now
don't have anybody.
those are points that they did not get. So unfortunate for
Yeah, that
them.
sucks.
But as for the match, I mean, MJF I thought looked amazing with the MVP tights.
I
thought that was
fucking
so
loved
good.
it. He looked so stupid and so great. It was so funny.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really good. The match itself, I mean, kind of whatever it is. MJF was the best part doing his shtick. Then when Shelton and Bobby got in there, I kind of just didn't really care myself. He did do the ball in as well,
Yes.
and they won surprisingly as well. But yeah, and then a bunch of stuff with Mystico afterwards. I think they unmasked Mascara Dorada. MJF's bringing back the USA All American thing next week in Arena America, which is going to be phenomenal. I think.
I agree.
With
But I'm
the
also
flag
annoyed
and
that this is where they're going with them right off. Like, this is their first feud right off. And I get they're doing it with all of Mexico, and it's not,
yeah.
it's the timing more than anything that sucks.
Mhm.
Because if this was a month earlier, a month later, where they did MJF with Hurt Syndicate, it might further, like, actually advance the storyline, where now it's like, all right, we get to kind of put a pause on where they're going and say, hey, we're using this to kind of build the team unity and this and that, which is fine, but I want to see where it's going. Like, I want to get past this already and see where it's going. But I'm very excited to see this whole American shtick next week in in Mexico. It's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I've already made it clear I want the whole shtick to be over.
Yes, I know you do.
Whatever.
Um,
Odds of fan attacks MJF in Mexico, honestly, very high, and it's probably going to be a child. It's definitely going to be a child, if anything. So
totally agree with you, 100%.
All right. Next up, Mox, Page, and the Ops. So,
I love it.
my first question immediately is just, where's Hook? What are we doing?
I don't understand why you brought him back. And it looked like it was a clear thing what you were trying to do. You brought Hook back. He gave Joe like the no and walked away. So it looked like it was very clear like you were going to start a dissension and possibly a storyline there. And then we haven't seen Hook since. And like each week I'm just like, what's the point? Like, why do we you should have saved him? It's weird.
Yeah, that was weird. But just wanted to get that out of the way because that was my first thought. I love them bringing him out with the duct tape and holding him and taking him out. And like, I could be wrong here, but as far as I can recall, I don't really remember ever somebody being brought out with their mouth duct taped like that.
Yeah, almost like a hostage situation. Not
Yeah.
that to that degree.
Yeah. So again, if it's ever happened before, by all means, call me out on it. Let me know in the comments. But I don't recall that ever happening with the duct tape like that in the mouth for that kind of a beatdown and promo where only one person gets to talk. I thought that was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I loved the whole thing, and I think everything's still stacking up a lot for it not to be Paige. But here's something I wanted to say that I feel like I've said this before. I think I said it for WrestleMania 41. But either way, I'm going to say it again here for this now. I really hope they're not setting up another like WrestleMania 40 level kind of thing here where they're telling Paige he needs all this like help and backup and friends and like it's going to turn into this like overbooked finish where everyone's coming out one by one to help him and then like I don't want that.
It's
and
gonna
I'm worried it's where it's going to I'd rather it just
because
be
you're gonna have you're at the very least gonna have Yuta and Claudio come out because Pac is hurt, so or maybe Pac will be healed by then, but probably not. So you're gonna have Yuta and Claudio come out. So that'll automatically bring out Ospreay and Swerve, and then that'll bring out the Bucks, which will then bring out the Ops. So like you're gonna have the whole big colluded thing happening. Regardless, it sucks.
It just stinks. It stinks. And maybe I'm being unfair. I know they're not, WrestleMania 40 wasn't the first time ever to do it, but it's like you're doing this story and you're culminating it and everything like, like I'm looking at Ospreay right now and Ospreay feels like what Seth Rollins was for Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the hits and doing all he can to get him there and be the one to do it. And Mox has clearly been like the Roman tribal chief thing. So like, again, I'm sure I'm being unfair. They've earned this story. They've earned what they're doing. I hope that they can not go fully down that road is all I'm getting at.
I just don't think it's gonna end in a win. Like I think it's gonna be overbooked. I think it's gonna be very similar to WrestleMania 41, but the finish is gonna be different where the bad guy wins there.
Yeah. And my last point, and then we can move on just really quick. Kind of like what they said with Joe a few weeks ago with the Ops going after the Death Riders. I mean, Adam Page was like, if I get my hands on any of you, I'm going to like rip your heads off or whatever he said at the end of the promo. And then the rest of the night, I mean, we
Nothing.
saw him once, but then like he never really like hunted or went after anybody or got anybody. So
I agree. I was
whatever.
gonna bring that up. Also, very kind of boring though. But
It's a little nitpick. That's not a big
eventually,
deal,
he'll
but
get his
whatever.
hands on them, and God Almighty.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the returning Ty Mello in ring, teaming up with Anna Jay to take on Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Oh, really quick. If Mox retains, Darby's return at the very end is guaranteed. If Paige wins, where does Darby return make sense? Um, I, I guess you really wait. No, you can't wait all the way
Keep
till
talking. I'm
WrestleDream.
sorry. I just gotta fix something. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Yeah, well, because he was around after WrestleDream. He was around till the end of the year, basically. So I don't know. I was wondering because I think I saw like in the next like few weeks, I think they're in Seattle for a Dynamite and Collision, and I was almost wondering if they do bring him back before All In, like bring him back at that Dynamite. So that's what I think. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If not there, you probably wait till Forbidden Door All Out, pretty much. I think. But okay, moving on really quick. The only thing I wanted to bring up with this one is Ty Mello back in ring. What'd you think? How'd you think she looked? I thought she looked well. I thought she looked good.
I was gonna say it didn't like she didn't come back from an injury, so I think that also helps a lot. Like she came back from a baby and stuff. So, but she looked like fresh. She looked ready to go. She looked I wouldn't say better or worse at all. Like I think we got to have like a more singles match to kind of see that. But I still think she looked like I'm excited to have her back. Pretty much.
Yeah, she looked comfortable and confident.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all you can ask for coming back after like 2 years.
Exactly.
And I guess it's fair to ask, women's tag titles. Do we still think they're happening for All In? Are they happening this summer?
I think they're happening over the summer. I don't know if they're happening for All In because I mean he has been doing a lot of tag team matches, so maybe. But like you figured he would announce something, and they just made the other announcement, which we're about to talk about. So like I don't know if they're gonna do both at All In.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to the next point.
Yeah.
Give me multi-team ladder match at All In. All right.
That would be cool. A women's multi-team ladder match. I would enjoy that.
Well, my personal prediction is I think the gauntlet, the casino gauntlet this year is the women. I don't think they're doing a men's one.
Ooh.
That's my hot take. Women's casino gauntlet.
All right.
Okay. This one. And Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada. I had a lot of problems with this segment.
Give me one.
As soon as I saw the table with something covering a belt with the black cloth, I knew they were doing it. I knew they were unifying.
Yeah,
belts.
it was a belt fucking outline in between both belts. Like it was super odd. It was so annoying.
I know, but the second I saw it, I knew it was real and happening. So, man, first off, I think the belt looks worse than the other two.
The belt.
It reminds me of belt. It reminds me of the old school, the original AEW women's belt.
Yes, thank you.
It's the tiny one.
Yes,
it looks like it.
Yes,
I don't like it at all.
I agree.
I don't think it looks as good as the other two because the other two looked like very gold. This one looks paler. I don't really like the belt. I hate the name.
It's a stupid fucking name.
Now I don't think they should have done this at all. I made that very clear on the show for weeks. I don't think they should have named it the Intercontinental title. That's lazy and less than what it should be for them. So that's not even the train I'm on. But it shouldn't be happening. I think it's awful. And now, so what happens with the Continental Classic? Like, does this belt still serve as the ticket in? And is this still defended during the Classic? Does the winner of the Classic get the belt now? Or is the belt just not factor into that tournament anymore? Like, that's important because, like, some people don't care about it. I really enjoy the Continental Classic. It has a very strong place in my heart. The very first one, the finals, we were there for live. Yeah. Last year's, I was there for a lot of them in the final week at the Manhattan Center. So I've been there for shows and have really gotten invested in the tournament. So, like, I want it to keep going. I want it to still work that way, and I just don't think they're going to do it. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to address it either for a while. on TV. Like they don't have to until like November. So
Exactly, not to until the classic. But no, I
we'll
100%
see.
agree with you. I think the name's stupid. I think the belt looks terrible. I think it was a dumb idea.
I hate
I
it.
don't
I
understand
hate
what the
it.
point. I love the winner takes all mentality, and now it's a unification match. Unification title doesn't make sense. It's a bad name. I still can't get over that name. The name doesn't make sense. And then everything after, I also didn't like. I didn't like Okada with Callis, even if it's not part of the Callis family. I think it's dumb that they're teaming up. Callis is doing his own stuff. It's not like any of their guys are getting involved in that match anyway. There's no payoff for Callis at all. It's just to help Kenny lose the belt, which I guess bringing back that storyline, but it just he doesn't need to be involved in this. Like, let this just be
Yeah,
between Okada and Kenny and let them go.
I fully agree with you. I get he's probably there just to be a mouthpiece for Okada, I guess, but like I agree with you, man. We don't need this at all. I mean, I don't. I hate that Callis is involved. Like you said, he's already involved with like 7 other guys
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff. He doesn't need to be involved with this, and it just screams of when they did um, the Osprey stuff, and they were throwing him in there with Jericho or
Yeah,
whatever. Like it
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I mean, and I don't even hate Callis. I really don't care for Callis, but I don't hate him. But like this just makes me annoyed. Like
I actually,
I don't want him involved in it.
and I've said it on here. I like Callis. I like the Callis family. I like everything they're doing. This again, this one thing doesn't make sense.
And and this is a dumb nitpick, I know. I'm sure we all thought it. That was an absurd amount of blood in that blood packet.
Jesus Christ,
Like,
bro.
come on.
He should
I
not be
mean,
alive if that's how much blood came out of him. Like that's dangerous. That isn't diverticulitis. That's like you punctured his like stomach lining or his lung or something. He has
and
to like have emergency surgery.
I'm pretty sure I did see the actual packet pop out
Yeah.
when he did it. It was so much, but whatever. That's nothing. But honestly, the Callus thing, I'd like to think it's going to come and go when the match is over. He won't be involved anymore. But it just honestly, the whole thing really took my excitement level for the match like down a lot.
Oh, I agree.
I'm not going to be bombastic about it and say this is the worst fucking thing ever. Like
The
it
match
really hurt
the
my
match
hype
itself
level
is still going to
for
be
it.
great, but like the meaning behind it now and like the stakes of it just aren't the same for us.
Yeah, yeah. All right, moving on. Got that off my chest, I
To
guess. Still
to
sucks,
another
though.
wrestler that Callis is
Still
involved
upset
in.
about it. To Anthony Bowens versus Kyle Fletcher. Very solid match in my
Yeah,
opinion. I
I liked
really
it a
liked
lot.
Adam Cole's. I liked Adam Cole's commentary work. He was really doing a good job putting over Bowens,
Mm-hmm.
which I know the goal is to put both of them over, but I feel like this was more aimed at getting Bowens over because I know he's losing right now. But getting over where like that's why I put this on here. So we kind of touched on it last week, and I want to give us a little more time to talk about Anthony Bowens because him and Castro are both kind of doing the same thing, but their own thing right now, where they're both losing a lot. But like, it almost seems like Castro's getting more over with his shtick because he's on the mic doing more, where Bowens is getting over within the ring. But I don't know if like is Billy Gunn really hurting him?
I was
Is you know
just gonna say that.
is Gunn doesn't really do too much. I don't know if he's hurting him or if it just makes it reek of like not evolving because he's not taking away from anything. I don't think, but
So I think the two
um,
problems for Bowens, for me personally, is like I get the 5 tool player thing. I like the gimmick, but he says it too much. It's almost becoming like the all American, like generic white meat cut, babyface, and like people aren't too
yeah,
crazy about that.
he's trying to get it over really hard. That's why.
Exactly. Whereas like Max knows this stupid chant is stupid, but they're having fun with it, so that's why it's getting over more. Like that chant is ridiculous, but like each week it grows on you a little bit more and a little bit more. And like fans are now doing it more and more and more. And then the second thing with Bowens is I agree. I don't think Billy does anything anymore. I think it's the nostalgia. I think it was last week. It was either Nigel or Tony who were just like, the old Bowens would have done a scissor, whatever. And then they did a scissor like 5 minutes later, and they're just like, oh, I guess he
Oh,
still does. Like, it made them look awkward because they thought that was behind them, and then now he's doing it again with Billy Gunn, which I think
yeah.
leans into what you were just saying, where he's bringing too much nostalgia into Bowens when you're trying to move forward and leave that behind you.
Well, I think it's because I think it's funny because when he first came back and then the first few weeks he was back, he wasn't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the scissoring. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't at all. He was staying away from it. He was doing this like as a sign, but he wasn't doing the scissoring at all. But I think he realized like the fans still do enjoy like doing it and chanting it and popping for it. I think he threw it in there just to keep like it's kind of the Garcia thing with the dance, where like Garcia stopped doing it, but then he kind of started like doing it a little bit again because the crowd just likes it.
Yeah.
So he's in a rough spot, and then, like I don't think he needs a belt, but I think he needs to rack up wins. And right now he's
I'll
in
just
that
say,
phase of
I think he just needs a
he's
good feud.
yeah, because he's in that phase right now, that pigeonhole of we're gonna give you the sink or swim big matches and let you look great. But you're gonna lose, and I don't think he needs that right now. I
Yeah,
think he needs the winning streak.
I agree.
So we'll see how it
Like,
progresses.
like if they had a tournament, he doesn't need to win the tournament, but having him get to like the semifinals or the finals of the tournament, I think is something that would benefit him. I think that's the kind of shit he needs.
Yeah, I think something that could help AEW, and people will probably yell at this because it's another tournament and another like prize. I would do like I don't know if you've heard of this before, the Young Lions Cup.
Yeah, like if you haven't won or you're under like,
Well,
wait,
not even that. Just basically, if you're like a rookie or an up and comer or
that's
someone
what I meant.
young, yeah, that's what it's for. It's for not established talent. It's meant to like really showcase younger talent
Yeah.
coming up, and so I think that could be nice. That could be helpful for them, like in do it in like the spring. Well, that's when the Owen is. Whatever. Moving on. FTR. I wanted to give them some credit for their heel work over the last few weeks, basically since they turned. It's been amazing. Like I love everything doing with just the little things of like interacting with like the lucha talent, with the fans. Um, just great heel work from them all around. Even without Stokely, they would have been fine. But Stokely just makes it even better.
Stokely
And
really, I'll eat my word. Stokely really does add a little bit to them that I didn't think he would. I'm really enjoying Stokely with them, and I'm really enjoying every time they cut someone off, and it's just like, what do you think? And I think, and what do you think? And it's just, it's they're doing it really well, which
yeah,
is fun.
they're not trying to be like heels that are cool and get over. They're just being dicks, and it's great. It makes for great television.
That's the best kind of heel.
Um, Only there was a babyface tag team as champions right now to like really feud with these heels, but whatever.
Crazy.
So one note that I did write down, which I kind of changed my mind maybe a little bit once the 12-man tag was announced. I don't know if you saw that one. They're doing a 12-man tag next week with
Oh
FTR
yeah,
and the World
Jesus Christ, yes.
versus the Callis family, and like it's a whole big thing. So at the time, I thought they were going to do FTR versus Atlantis and Atlantis Junior. Now, here's my question for you: when do you bring back Cope? Because you have to assume it's for All In before All In for a match. Like, but what does he
no,
do?
I
Who does
think
he
he
team
comes
with?
back at All In.
You think they wait this whole time? Because they started mentioning him last night. So
They
the
did, but like
seed's there.
All In's July 12th, so that's less than a month, right?
Exactly a month.
Or exact. Oh shit, today's June 12th. Exactly a month. Oh my god.
Look at that.
So exactly a month away. I don't, because not only do you have to get him back, you have to get a partner for him. So who's going to be his partner? Atlantis Jr.? No. You're not going to have.
Garcia.
Yeah, but Garcia's kind of moved on from the FTR thing because now Garcia's doing the whole Callis family stuff with Paragon.
Yeah, he still go back into that hole.
I agree that
Squeeze
he
right back in
could,
there.
but like you kind of put a kibosh on the Garcia thing. Like Garcia and Nigel had the match. They've really kind of chilled with each one of them since then. So just to kind of have that kind of fire back up is a little weird to me.
I got one. Okay, how about Cope and Darby?
That would be awesome. That would, but
You
then
bring back
is that,
you bring back Cope in Mexico, and then I think in like 2 or 3 weeks they're in Seattle.
but
bring
don't you
Darby
want
back there.
Darby's come back to be for the championship?
I mean, yeah, but I'm just trying to think of who would be with Cope. That would be a big deal and wouldn't really need much like establishing explanation.
Yeah, I
And-
kind of think our original idea is still going to happen. It's just not going to happen at All In, where the whole Christian thing is still kind of slow burning. Whatever's happening with him and Nick Wayne is hopefully gonna pop off soon. That comment last night, by the way, that where's my mom? Christian's doing some hard work in her too. That was fucking wild. But So I still think that kind of pays off. I think you bring back Cope at All In. I think because they're not doing Atlantis and Lance Jr. next week. Maybe they do Atlantis and Lance Jr. at All In, something like that. Because they're doing like a long feud with the Lucha guys. They beat them there. They go to attack him. Cope comes out for the save, and then he starts the journey of being like, I need a partner to face these guys. Like they keep getting the best of me. Blah 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 blah. And hopefully that brings in a Christian thing somehow. I'm just thinking of what I hope happens because I think if you do it at All In, you kind of rush it.
Well, this is a perfect time to promote our segment for next week. On Tuesday, we are going to be fantasy booking the rest of the All In card here on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So this conversation will continue on Tuesday, I'm sure.
I agree.
So get thinking, Danny. Get thinking, viewers. If you have suggestions, let us know.
Just so we're
going
clear,
to
though,
try and fill
I hate
out.
doing this because you're always right, and then I hate.
No, not true.
You're always right, and then I feel bad when I oppose you, and then a week later I'm just like, God damn it, just listen, just let Juice do it. This should just be the Juice segment, all right? And just let Juice say it, and just give your opinion on what you think Juice said.
All right. Do you want to just have us both come with our own cards and call it there?
Of course.
Share?
Yeah. I mean, I like when we both have our ideas and we come up with the card together. I'm just saying, like WrestleMania, I'm going to talk you out of matches that are going to be true, and then I'm going to listen to you talk about it later. Next up, we have Tony and Mercedes.
Yeah. Quick note, I just want to throw out there, because you mentioned the Nick Wayne segment, I didn't put it on here. I have a feeling they're going to go down the Mother Wayne is pregnant route with this whole thing.
Oh God, you're so
putting
right.
it out there.
You're so
Would not
right.
be surprised if
Terrible.
Christian hits Nick with the Mama Wayne's pregnant deal, but I digress. Okay, next up, Tony and Mercedes Moné. The hype and the build continues with Tony Storm versus Julia Hart and Mercedes Moné on commentary with a much, much more substantial, better meal this week. She had some bread. She had some mac and cheese.
I don't know. That steak was huge last week. That steak was pretty good.
Yeah, but the steak was cooked better this week.
That's
and
fair.
Looked thicker. And mashed potatoes. She had the good this week. A much better table, much better spread.
Yes.
Because last week was just not much to the imagination. So.
Yes.
But we're not here to talk about the meal. We're here to talk about the snacks in that ring. Tony Storm. I love you. It was a decent match. I still think Julia Hart looks weak. I'm really trying not to fall off that train, but she's not really helping her case lately.
I mean, we already talked about it. It's just not the right.
I know.
Gimmick.
Like I just don't like not even the gimmick. It's her style in the ring. Her moves.
That goes with the gimmick, because I think she has to do this like slow, dark style. So she thinks she has to like move slower and more methodical. It's like you could still be athletic. You could still do some like shots and still be this dark persona, but she doesn't know how to mix it well.
Either way, like I really don't like the tarantula where she's just like holding with her hands the ankles barely, like she's barely putting. There's no pressure being put because she's too small. So someone should be getting with her and telling her, do a different move. Yeah. Don't do that move anymore. But whatever. As for the post match, yeah, I mean Tony and Mercedes got it. I loved Mercedes attacking, running away when Mina comes out, running back and taking out Mina. I thought that was great. I love that. That's how it should be with a heel, not like running away and that's it. Just sneaking back and getting the second hit in was awesome. And then the big news next week, Mercedes Moné is going for another belt, challenging for the CMLL Women's Championship on Dynamite. What do we think? Do we think she's winning another belt?
I think she's winning another belt. I think she's winning another belt next week, which is fucking ridiculous.
Dude, see, I'm on the fence because like that was my first thought too. Is she's gonna win it? Because like she's undefeated in singles competition in AEW. Like you could have Tony cost her here and not get the belt, which is great for the story. But like, are you really going to take away that first singles loss, assuming it's not Tony? So I don't know. I don't know if they're. And also they're in Mexico, and like we haven't talked about it, but I'm really curious how many like Mexican wrestlers, CMLL wrestlers, actually win next week.
I think they're going to have a decent amount. I think MJF's going to lose.
You do?
I do think MJF's going to lose next week.
Okay, Very interesting. I think it's a DQ no contest.
Ooh, that's fair.
Yeah, maybe they don't do that often though, but they could. If there's ever a time,
I
this is
honestly
it.
don't know how CMLL does like their finishes too, though. So I can't like they had to have
That's a
some
very
voice with
good.
some of them. So I don't know.
That's a very good point because the CMLL, I'm sure most of their matches just have no DQs and they just don't care.
It's true. Yeah.
um, yeah, so we'll see how that goes next week, but I'm really intrigued to see. And I also realized next week's AEW segment might end up being pretty small
Yeah. It's
because
only
there's
two and a
no
half
collision.
hours.
Well, and there's no collision in between, so we
Yeah.
only have that 2.5 hour show next week to talk about. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Hopefully, some big
It's not
things
gonna be a
happen on
lot.
it.
Yeah. Okay. This next one, Danny. I'm putting my hands up and I'm shutting my mouth. I'm gonna stop guessing.
You're jinx. You are the announcer's curse for these tag
I'm
teams,
done.
bro. It is
Done.
hilarious.
I'm not making another guess. I'm not making another prediction. The hat is off. I am watching. That's it.
I
That's
thought
it.
the second that segment happened, the first thing I thought about is, oh, I'm gonna start putting these tag teams on a hit list for Juice because he's just taking out one by one.
I almost want to pick another one just to keep it going, but I'm
I kind of want you,
not.
but it has to be a real one. It can't just be one just to make a like
No.
who the
no.
next legit tag team you think is on his radar is.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not doing it. I'm thinking,
Next
but I'm
week.
not. I said I'm done.
Next week,
Done.
I want another one. Next week, Gates of Agony we put out there, but we said they've been going more babyface, so probably not Gates of Agony. But
That's all.
I really hope next week you come up with one because like it'd be fantastic. Or if you just text it to me and then I'll let you know, and then we'll see what happens on Dynamite.
Nope. I'm not jinxing it. No more. All right, that's all I got. Next
Moving
up,
on, Chris Statlander.
Chris Statlander. Want to see your thoughts on the Yuta segment where he kind of attempted to sway her or get her over to the Death Riders, but almost didn't seem serious, and Marina was looking in and all that stuff. So, do we think this is just like something to get a story going with Willow and trying to stop her or whatever, or do we think this Statlander thing has legs?
I don't think Statlander's joining them. I just don't think her attitude fits them. I mean, if they do a complete gimmick change, persona change, maybe. But I think this is kind of just a story for her and Willow to do something with Mina. But I think maybe it'll be a tug of war for a little bit, but I don't think she's ever eventually.
You mean Marina?
Marina. Sorry, I said Mina. I was
No, it's
thinking
fine.
about
I'm
the
making
kiss.
sure I didn't.
No, Marina.
Okay.
So yeah, I just don't think it's in. I think it has legs in the fact that it might be a potentially interesting storyline, but I don't think she joins the Death Riders.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think so either, but something to think
I
about.
also don't want her to. I don't think that would really fit for her.
I mean, again, unless she has a full repackage, which I wouldn't hate either.
I wouldn't hate a repackage, but I still I'm just looking at the group and like seeing her fit into the group. Maybe I don't know.
Jay says, write it on a piece of paper, seal it in an envelope, open it next week on a show to see if you were right all along. Listen, I'm not Oz the mentalist here, okay?
Hey
I'm
man, maybe you are for tag teams that are joining Ricochet. Imagine the ultimate twist and he gets all four of them and he just has both of them join his crew. That'd be crazy. All right, last point of the night, Thekla and Aminata.
Thekla.
Tekla. I said Thekla. Tekla.
You did. It's okay. So this one. Man, okay. I'm gonna start with the first thing. I guess you can't be there every week and you're trying to establish Tekla, but where's Jamie Hayter? Like, where's the heat with Jamie Hayter going after Tekla and that whole thing? Nothing there. Okay,
just so we're clear, the attack wasn't that bad. Like, she wasn't coughing up that blood that Kenny Omega was coughing up today. Yeah. There's no reason for her to be gone for this long. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Well, no, I think she was on last week with a backstage segment. If I recall, she was on. I don't know. I just think if it's a story and you're gonna have one person on with it, like let's keep the whole thing
I
going. That's
agree.
all. Um, I'm gonna take my weekly shot at Tony Schiavone. Um, he was all right. First off, this show as a whole was very well produced, very well. It flowed very
I
well.
agree.
It was segmented very well. It didn't feel like 4 hours like the Fighter Fest did.
I
Um,
100% agree.
so very good show last night compared to Fighter Fest in terms of the match flow and the segments and all of that. I was even fine with Shivani up until this match. Um, her name is Tekla, but if you didn't notice, Shivani kept calling her Spider.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He was either calling her Spider or Spider Tekla.
And I
Like
kept
he just
thinking that I messed up her name and that her full name was Spider Tekla. I was like, no, but they introduced her
no,
as Tekla at the beginning,
no.
and her persona is that she is a like human spider. Why do you keep calling her
She's
Spider?
she's the toxic spider Tekla.
Yeah,
Toxic spiders clearly in parentheses. It's a moniker. And Tony's just fucking calling her Spider and Tekla. It was driving me insane. He
that'd
he
be
did it the whole match,
that'd
not
be
once or
literally like
twice.
calling Randy Orton Predator the entire match. Like, oh, here comes Predator, like doing another move on. It's like that's their nickname isn't their fucking name, bro.
Yeah, like if even if he was saying the toxic spider, I'd be like, okay, fine, very wordy, could just say Tekla, but at least you're calling her the toxic
Yeah, you're
spider
giving her a
and getting
nickname.
that over. But whatever. And then my last thing that I want to talk about is I don't know if you noticed this or if any of our viewers noticed
I swear
this,
to God, if there's another
but
spider on the screen, I'll go crazy.
no, no spider. Well, technically there was one.
Ah,
Um, Queen Aminata. Um, I think I'm out on her. She was very, very unprofessional last night. With what she was doing in the ring and post match. Again, I don't know if you saw this. If you guys didn't see this, go back and watch either on Twitter or YouTube or something. Tekla wins, and immediately once the bell rings, Aminata like shoves and pushes Tekla off of her, rolls out of the ring, and just straight up walks away, no selling, nothing, not holding anything, just walking away normally and quickly. And clearly something was up, something happened. She was either mad or upset about whatever. I don't know if it was losing or taking a hit, but like I saw that and I completely checked out on her. Like very rude, very unprofessional to do stuff like that. And it seems like, and she's not a heel, she's a baby face. And her storyline going on, for those of you that don't know, is Serena Deeb is like trying to get her to join up with her, but it's not really going anywhere significant. Like Aminata's clearly rejecting her. So it's not like this is like a slight heel thing going on. This is just like I don't know. I didn't like it at all. I don't know what you think if you didn't see it, but
no,
that pissed
I
me off.
saw it. I didn't, but I also noticed like towards I would say not in the middle of the match, but like towards the end of the match, that it just wasn't flowing as well. It seemed like she was just kind of going through the motions. Where and it wasn't Tekla that was like not doing her shit. Tekla was
No.
trying to do her moves and like get through everything, and just Aminata wasn't really giving her much. It was almost like she was sandbagging it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I saw
There was
how.
also like an
Go ahead.
sorry. No, there was like an Irish whip that she did in the corner, Tekla to
Yep.
Amanada. And Amanada just like strolled la la la
Even
in. It
even when
looked
she put her in
awful.
like the tarantula or spider or whatever she calls it, like when Abenade came
Yeah.
out of it, she wasn't holding anything. She was kind of just laying there, like she didn't pass you
So
out. Like, what are you doing? Um,
yeah, and I said it here on the show
I've never been a
before, like
fan of
with
Aminata though.
Amanada.
Just so we're clear. I know you have been. I've
Yeah,
never been a
no.
fan of Aminata.
No, well, kind of the same. Like I thought she was decent in the ring, but I thought she was like very dull and boring whenever she came out. She had no charisma to her.
Hmm.
Like her and Megan, like if I'm between her and Megan Bain in terms of like how they present themselves, I'd rather Megan Bain.
Yeah, at least Megan Main
To
has
this
more
point,
of a better look.
and maybe that's why Queen Aminata kind of stopped getting like as much attention as she was getting. She has zero energy on her entrances, and I'm sure that's part of like who she is as a person and her character or whatever. But yeah, she doesn't connect with me at all. Like
Yeah,
they were trying to make her like the 2024 or 2025, the 2024 Sky Blue. Now Sky Blue was getting those reps and getting over, and Avenata just didn't get over. But Yeah, honestly, after that match last night, I think I'm out on her too.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking with us tonight. We had a lot to talk about. Great night. Please join us on Tuesday as we fantasy book the rest of All In. And next Thursday, we continue our usual Last Point Standing where we talk about WWE, SmackDown, and Dynamite. Hopefully, Dynamite gives us some substantial stuff to talk about. We'll find out. And I think, no, not predictions next week. No predictions next week. We should be good with predictions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great night, everybody.
episode 99 on Tuesday. Be there or be triangular.
What?
Bye bye.
Bye bye.